Hello, I'm Jodi and I'm the East Valley social worker, and welcome to our Lunch and Learn series. I've invited my friend Alicia Mitchell today to talk about a topic that I've been learning a lot from Alicia, and it's called You Are Medicine. And so welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, so would you like to tell the folks a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Thank you for inviting me. Yes, my name is Alicia Mitchell. I'm a citizen of the Cherokee Nation of the Wolf Clan, and I have the privilege of being Jodi's neighbor. So I moved back to Arizona after residing in Cherokee, North Carolina. We were on our tribal lands for 23 years. So I did move back home, and I happened to move right next to Jodi, and that's how we met. And so yeah.
So we met, and then how long was it? I remember you had your 50th birthday coming up.
Correct.
And we celebrated together, and you had some news that you didn't share at your party.
Correct. So 3 days. So I moved home March 2021, and December 3rd, 2021, I received the news that I was facing breast cancer. Invasive lobular carcinoma, and so of course we celebrated the weekend, had my brunch, and told the kids we're not telling anyone, we're going to celebrate my 50th, and continually tried to convince everyone that I personally felt like it was a detour in my journey, and that I was going to be fine. So yeah, so I celebrated with Jodi and some of my other good friends, and didn't tell anybody until I had to.
Yeah, and I guess at that time I was working here at Ironwood, and I really look for sources of inspiration for people because it obviously was a very halting time, right? What was your reaction when you first found out you got the diagnosis?
To be honest, I didn't cry, I didn't panic, I was like, oh, we're doing this now? You know, I went through a very stressful 15 years prior that probably led up to my diagnosis, looking back now at the stress I was under. So I almost, hearing that, I didn't panic. I immediately was like, okay, this is how you're getting my attention. So I immediately catapulted into super positive, which I don't know where it came from. Obviously, probably the connection to my spirituality and my ancestors. But I immediately was happy, and
I remember that. Yeah.
Felt like it was just going to be a detour in my journey, and this is what I'm doing next.
So you got the diagnosis, you got the treatment plan, which was surgery, correct? Mm-hmm. And I just remember you having some very good support. Your family was supportive. You had a lot of friends that were supportive. But the other thing I remember is a lot of those people seemed to be the ones that needed more support than you.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, and as I mentioned just a moment ago, I spent more time convincing others that I was okay. I even had a colleague from the office call me the day before my double mastectomy, and it's like, I'm just really checking on you, but really, how are you? I'm like, I'm great, I'm fantastic, I'm gonna get this behind me tomorrow. And she's like, honestly, like, everyone continually asked me, waiting for me to break down. And I never did. And I honestly believe it was my faith, my strength, and this power of positivity that was gifted to me that I can't explain even now. You know, how I was able to be so positive at the time.
Yeah, and had you been a positive person before? Because I didn't know you years before that. Or did it really emerge through this?
Well, ironically and interesting enough, in the 90s, I'm dating myself, but you already know it was 3 days before my 50th birthday, so who cares, right? Ironically enough, in the early 90s, I worked with Southwest Airlines, and all my friends, my nickname was Happy, because no matter what, I was always positive. Anything that came at us, I'm like, oh, we can get through this, we're fine. It's, you know, so I had this, it was in me, and I feel once I got married, moved away, and kind of went through a very traumatic marriage. I felt like I lost that. Mm-hmm. So I really felt like this diagnosis and where I was giving me myself back and who I truly was. Mm-hmm. And so it like just really came full circle and brought me back to that sense of, I'm gonna be fine. This is nothing. You know, I'm gonna get through it. It's gonna be uncomfortable, but I continually looked at the end vision of it and looked at the completely healed version of myself, happy, healthy, and free of cancer. And that's.
I remember that, you holding that vision, because even though there were surgeries and there was pain involvement, you really just held that vision, and that seemed to be the secret sauce there. Mm-hmm. But you also educated yourself. Can you talk about the ways that you educated yourself and kind of changed your life in terms of things that you could control?
Yes. So one of the things, and by you asking that question, it made me think, is that I read somewhere, I don't know because I did a lot of research, that one of the best pieces of advice was not to look at it as I'm fighting cancer, I'm fighting this or that, because you wake up thinking and you're in that fight mode every day. And so I was determined not to say and ever say I was fighting something, because I didn't want that negative energy in there and being something else I was fighting with, because I had spent, like I said, 15 years in a bad place, very depression, anxiety, panic attacks, a bad marriage. And so it was just very important to me that I never said I'm fighting cancer, I'm battling cancer. All of these words and that language, I was like, no, you know, I'm getting through cancer, I'm going to heal from cancer, I'm going to do what I need to do, which led me into doing my own research, watching documentaries, educating myself on the positive mental focus of cancer, and to be quite honest, at the beginning, the prognosis and the option was to do a lumpectomy. Then it moved into removing one breast and then watching the other. And from the beginning, I told the kids that if that came, you know, if the option came to me, I'm doing a double mastectomy. I'm just getting it off of me and moving forward. So with that, that's what I did. But in the research, you know, I really learned that you can shift biology by your power of your mind. And so in doing that, I felt like that was the secret sauce, and that was my power and my weapon to you know, get through cancer, was to continue to be positive, to envision myself, no matter what, if it's going to take 1 year, 2 years, if I had all the strenuous treatments, chemo, radiation, okay, but I can see myself fully healthy, happy at that end, the end point after I go through this. So
you're also a fantastic cook, but I did notice that you became much more mindful about what you consumed, and that you have not wavered even a little on.
Right.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I removed immediately, so I watched the documentary, The C Word, all about cancer and our diets. And so I immediately removed meat. So I became a vegetarian. I removed alcohol, I removed coffee, and I removed sugar. So immediately it was just something that I was like, this isn't part of me anymore. I cannot eat these things. And I know people will diet and try to change their lifestyle. And if it's an option, it's difficult. I felt like this was not an option for me. I felt like, okay, if I want to live for my children and be here and be the healthiest version going into my double mastectomy in 30 days, I need to do this now, and I need to be as healthy as possible. So not only did I eliminate meat, toxins, and all that within what I consumed, I did it with my cosmetics, my cleaning supplies. I used this app called Yucca. I scanned barcodes everywhere, just so if there's any carcinogens or chemicals in the food, I just won't buy it. So yeah, that was a huge part of how I entered the process, even healthy, physically, and understanding that we are our own medicine, because the doctors can remove the cancer, but if we don't change who we are, chances are it's going to come back, and it may come back somewhere else, or it's going to come back somehow. But I just really told myself, you are the medicine that you need to get through this, and if you don't take action, he's not. I mean, the surgeon can remove it, but then what am I going to do? Go right back into a space. So yeah, you're right. It's been 2 years?
Yeah,
2 years, and I haven't wavered
you
on
haven't
my diet.
wavered, and it does seem like your ancestry is a part of that. Like it just kind of reinforces your ancestry, and the beliefs within that, because and that's been really enlightening for me to witness, quite honestly. And I'll impart that to the patients that I work with, because it seems like it's been effortless, those changes. Would you say it's been difficult, or would you say that it's been quite easy? You say it wasn't really a choice.
Right. I would say it was quite easy. Once I did my own research and I knew I had to come in with positivity, and a clean diet, clean everything, I knew also if I did that prior to surgery, I would feel better. I would feel healthier, and my body would be in a position to heal better, and be better equipped to heal from whatever surgeries I was going to face. So yeah, it was instrumental in getting back to culturally our diets of, I had to give up, of course, meat and things like that, and the really unhealthy side of traditional foods, but it was instrumental in my health and recovery. So it was kind of a no-brainer. I had to do it. For me, that was what I was thinking.
That worked for you. So I guess, it's all really great advice for someone who's, has faced a cancer diagnosis. What would be the most important thing that you'd like to impart to someone going through this?
Okay, so again, I would first and foremost not say you're fighting anything. That was key for me. We're not fighting, it's not a battle. For some folks, I totally understand their level of diagnosis is, and they feel like they're in the battlefields with their diagnosis and their treatments. But it's all in the way that you view it. And if you come with that positive mental attack, if you will. And then another piece in some of the research that I did, one doctor had a lady said, "So doctor, what would you say if I was your wife, mom, sister, your relative? What's the number one advice you would give me so that my cancer doesn't come back?" And he said, "Move your body at least 30 minutes, 6 days a week." And that's not getting up here or there, I went to the kitchen, or I went, but consecutive exercise. So whether that's in the gym, whether that's taking a walk. So that's also another piece that you've seen me really adhere to, and I haven't wavered, that I will continue to move my body every single day, because it does, help us heal internally. So that was one of the pieces of advice. So envision yourself healed, healthy, in the version that you want to see yourself in. Meditate on that, really focus on that end point of a healthy life beyond cancer, and understand that you are the medicine that's needed, because you have all the tools. And another quote and piece that I had come across was that every morning when we lift our head up off the pillow, we have everything we need. And a lot of people don't think about that anymore. So we have everything within us. So it's it's kind of like our obligation, our power to take our health back. And I really feel like that was key.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that, because it's we need reminders of that. And there's something called post-traumatic growth that I think we've talked about before, where I've heard you say that you feel that the cancer actually was a gift. It moved you into a different way of being, and that's what post-traumatic growth is you went through all this trauma, the trauma of the diagnosis, but now you've really emerged a changed woman. So thank you so much for joining us. And
you're welcome. Yes, I continually say getting breast cancer for my 50th birthday was the best gift.
And we'll be celebrating your birthday again on Sunday, so here we are.
So 52. And yes, it's been the most beautiful gift because it changed me in ways that I was stuck in an era where I couldn't, in that trauma. It brought me back full circle. I was a vegetarian when I was pregnant with my daughter, and she's 25, so it's like it brought me back to all of the things of who I was prior to this marriage. So yeah, it's definitely been the most beautiful gift, and the gift that allowed me to see with my own eyes unconditional love from not only my family, my friends, so people like you too, Jodi, so thank you.
I think that's a great place to stop. Thanks again.
Thanks.